Hello there. My name is Shelby Trevor, and this is Shelby Trevor Violin Studio. Today's topic, I'm going to talk about something that's very general and very broad, which is uh, the technical goals of violin playing, or some of the issues that come up when you're learning the violin. A lot of people don't know uh, what goes into violin playing or string playing in general, viola, cello. And this can be applied to a lot of different instruments and a lot of different uh, art forms where there's a lot of repetitive movements that are needed to achieve a goal or to create something consistently. The, the main concept that I am going to try to get to in this specific talk is um, the overall technical goals of violin playing, which you can break down violin playing into um, into many different categories and many different concepts. But generally, there are two uh, there are two technical categories, and that is the left hand, which does the fingers of the instrument here, and then there's the bow hand or the right hand. They do very different things, but they have to come together ultimately to create music. So when we're practicing, when we're playing, we want to create scenarios that produce consistent outcomes for both hands. So that means in my teaching and in my practicing, I separate the two. So I do a lot of left hand work and I do a lot of bow hand work, and I try to simplify the basic elements so that I understand what each hand is doing and what it needs to be doing. So for example, as a very basic example, I would play open strings as a warm-up. Open strings are just when I use my bow on any of the four open strings. So I just played my D string, and I used a whole bow going down, and then I used a whole bow going up. And I have many different ways that I can do that. I can do open strings with a lot of different goals and a lot of different parameters that I put on my bow and my arm and etc. But generally, the goal when you're doing open strings should be becoming aware of what mechanically you're doing. So you want to not just build structures. For example, the structure of my hand and my fingers and my thumb and my wrist and my elbow and the muscles in between. I'm thinking about, when I say structures, I'm thinking like, how can I get a consistent sound? How can I be setting things up in a way that will be reliable for me? And so I build technique this way. So I have to do lots of repetition, where the most important part is where I am at mentally. I need to be thinking about different parts and how they're moving. So it's not just the structures, it's the actual motion, and it's the actual it's like you want to develop a sense of what is the proper way to be moving in this joint or for this group of muscles. And it's not just the arm. You know, the arm is connected to everything, right? It connects to your back, to your shoulders, to your neck, to the armpit, and to the chest, and everything. So when I'm practicing and when I'm teaching, I'm asking the student, or I'm asking myself if I'm practicing, what are all the different parts? And I try to go all the way down, through my back, through my hips, and through my knees, through my ankles, and get a sense all the way to the floor of what's happening. This can mean, while I'm doing open strings, I'm trying to feel something very specific or have a very specific set of movement or type of movement to bring awareness to a certain region. So like I might think about my feet and play open strings. Then I might think about my ankles and my knees moving. and I'm moving my whole body, and I'm trying to sense if I have anywhere in my whole body where there might be something that's stuck or not wanting to move. So every joint should be flexible. Every area, I want to bring my mind into my body and really connect my mind with my body so that I can move freely, I can breathe freely. And that's what's great about isolating different elements of technique, like the left hand, the bow hand, because I can really think about just the way it feels to do really simple things. So I boil things down to basic elements while I'm practicing. And then I try to take that sensation and sort of tack back and forth to more elements that I bring in and see if I can maintain those sensations. So as I start to play notes with my left hand, as I start to move around and do different things, which it could be just one note that you're adding with your left hand at first, doesn't have to be all the notes I played, or it can be more complex things than what I did. I still want to bring in the same sense of awareness in the motion through my ankles, through my feet, through my knees, through my hips, through my back. And the only way you can really do that is through repetition. Repetition whereby that's your goal. Your goal is to think about something very specific, to try to target regions in your body where you might be locking or holding onto something that you don't need to. And you might make some mistakes when you do this process because you might have to unlock something and learn how to do it in a different way. But that's part of the process, and that's why we do repetition, to be able to unlock regions of our body, or maybe in our mind, something that's holding us back, and to be able to go further and further into being free when we play, being relaxed, and having our movements connect with the intention of the music. So this is how I teach, this is how I practice, this is what I strive for as a performer, and that's just a little tidbit for today. I hope you enjoyed the video and that maybe it gave you some ideas in your own practicing. And if you like this, you can give a like in the video, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day. Thanks.